Nas and DJ Premier finally gave the world light years. And the culture split immediately. Some people are calling it a victory lap. Others are saying it didn't meet the moment. Timelines are arguing. Group chats are divided. And expectations are doing a lot of heavy lifting right now. So tonight, we're slowing all that noise down. No hot takes. No nostalgia goggles. No hate either. Just a real listen. A real breakdown. And one honest question at the center of it all. Did light years live up to the legacy? Or did the legacy weigh it down? Let's talk. You are now tuned into Sincere Love the Godcast.
Here's the way it is. You live in direct relation to the poets, the heroes, and the sheroes you have. Always honor the elders. Then you honor yourself. Honor women. You honor yourself. Honor men. You honor yourselves.
Yo family, real quick, I'm proud to announce the soft launch of Sincere Love to God's new book, From the Womb to Illmatic, a hip-hop inspired blueprint for unlocking your child's inner genius. This ain't your average parenting book, this is for the culture. Inspired by Illmatic, built around his own son Seven's early development, and packed with real tools to help parents turn everyday moments into genius-level learning. If you've ever wanted to give your child a head start without losing your roots, this book is for you. Available now on Amazon. Order now and leave a 5-star review. You already know, we raising brilliance around here.
Hi, I'm Seven, and I'm the Super Harry. That means I ask big questions, I make big moves, and I come from something powerful. In this series, I broke through change, embraced my culture, and unlocked the gifts that my ancestors gave me. These books are for kids like me, kids with heart, with pride, and with big dreams. Come join the journey. Collect all 4 Seven the Super Hero books and unlock your power. Available on Amazon and Kindle now. Order your copy today.
All right, here we go. Here we are. Peace to the family. Peace, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Sincere Love the Godcast. I am the God Sincere Love. Back in the house once again with another music review for the family. And today I will be giving my official review of the Nas DJ Premier album, Light Years. Just got my vinyl today. My day one's copy of the vinyl album, Light Years, Nas, DJ Premier. It's only right I had to cop the day one's version of the joint real quick because I'm a day one, Nas DJ Premier supporter. You know what I'm saying? So I had to get the day one's copy. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody that got their copies. Everybody who pre-ordered and all that, everybody who been supporting this project. Shout out to the family. But y'all come on up in here, man. Hit the like button as you're coming up in here. Let everybody know that I'm live right now. We're gonna be discussing this album. It's a lot of controversy around the album. The album has come out to mixed reviews. Some people hate it, some people love it. We're going to get into all of that, but essentially, we're going to get my take. I'm here to give y'all my official review on the album, and this is just based on my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't mean I'm right and whoever don't agree with me is wrong. People are entitled to feel how they feel. You know what I'm saying? People get what they get out of the album. You hate it, you love it, whatever. It's cool with me. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's what we here for today. So again, like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. That De La Soul album is better than the Nas and Preemo album, says FU. Okay, shout out to FU. FU said that De La Soul album is better than Nas and Preemo album. Then he said the Nas album is okay, no bad songs, but no bangers either. Interesting. Okay, so again, like I said, man, the album has come out to mixed reviews. It's not synonymously being held as a classic across the board, and it's not synonymously being trashed either. It's mixed reviews. I'm all over social media. I'm a part of a lot of different hip hop groups on Facebook and Nas groups specifically on Facebooks. I've been reading the comments, seeing the feedback. Other YouTubers have put out their reviews and their reactions and different things like that. You know, my circle, me and my brother DJ RP Beats was chopping it up earlier about the album. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the hip hop creators that I follow and respect online have given their takes. Everybody hasn't done an official review, but everybody has at least spoken on it to some degree. We've gotten at least everybody's initial reactions on the album. And so based on what I've been seeing, you know, it's a lot of mixed reviews. It's a lot of mixed reviews on this album. So again, people are entitled to their opinions. People are allowed to feel however they feel. The thing that I don't like that a lot of people do, hold on a second, because I'm going to turn on this fan. Turn that on and turn this off. The thing that I don't like, because, you know, people be arguing and beefing in the comment sections and all in the group chats going back and forth with people who disagree with them about the album, people making videos and memes and different content, defending their position on the album and all that. And the thing that I don't like is when someone disagrees with you, you try to discredit them as a real hip hop head, as somebody who don't know real hip hop, somebody who must be new here, you must be young, you know what I'm saying? You got to be of a certain age, or this album was only made for a certain demographic of people to be able to appreciate it, and and you know what I'm saying? That's the thing that I don't like. I don't think anybody who disagrees with my opinion or my take on the album loses their credibility, you know what I'm saying, as a hip hop head, or, you know, whatever they might call themselves, or being a historian, or what do you call it, a connoisseur or whatever. I'm not going to take no stripes away from you because we disagree on this particular album. You know what I'm saying? That's fine. You know what I mean? People have their own opinions. I've said dope shirt. Appreciate that. You can get this shirt right here at damn, what's the website? You got to go to the link in my bio on Instagram. What the hell is that website? I think you just go to sincerelovethegod.com. Go to sincerelovethegod.com. This is the Master's Table shirt. You know, this was the merch from the last album me and my brother DJ RP Beats did. We got all of the master teachers, not all of the master teachers, but we got a select few of the master teachers that we were paying homage to on the Master's Table album right here at the Master's Table. So you see, you know what I'm saying? We got Mr. Neely Fuller right here. You got Amos Wilson right in the middle. You got Dr. Francis Cress Wilson in the back. You got Dr. Claude Anderson over here. You know what I'm saying? So we paid homage to a lot of the master teachers and the shoulders that we stand on that album. So, you know, we invited them to come have a seat at the Master Table. But yeah, the shirt is still available. I think the hoodies too are available. You can get the hoodie right now. So go to sincerelovethegod.com and yeah, go ahead and pick that up. And if you're not up on the album, make sure you definitely go stream that. Sincere Love the God, DJ RP Beats, The Master's Table. That's available on all streaming platforms as well. Shout out to Life by D. Peace, peace, peace. Music is subjective, but I think Nas and DJ Premier killed it on Light Years. Okay. Yes, indeed. So somebody said, will you let Unc call in and babble about Live at the Barbecue instead of discussing the new album? No, we're not doing that today. we not doing that today. Unc, if you here, if you in the chat room, not today, my brother. Not today. That ain't what we talking about today, man. Like I said, man, I'm here to give y'all my official review on the Nas DJ Premier Light Years album. You know what I'm saying? Got my day one's copy of the vinyl. And I keep saying my day one's copy of the vinyl, but really this is for my daughter. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. This gets passed on to my daughter. She collects a lot of vinyl and stuff like that. So that's just something I had to grab to add to her collection. You know, shout out to my baby girl, Rhea. But again, so the album has been released to mixed reviews. And me, as a day one Nas fan, I am very accustomed to Nas albums coming out to mixed reviews. This is nothing new when it comes to Nas. This has been going on ever since it was written. Now, most people watching this video and most people living today will what's the word? Anonymous or synonymous? We across the board. I'm trying to say most people across the board would say that It Was Written is a classic. You know what I mean? Most people would say that now, today. But when the album came out, it came out to mixed reviews. If y'all was old enough to remember, tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. And so Nas has had to live with this curse for his entire career because his debut album just happens to be Illmatic. And so when you come out the gate with an album like Illmatic, which is widely heralded as the best rap album ever made, when you're the guy that made that as your first album, it's kind of hard to follow that up. It's kind of hard to live up to that. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, he has. I mean, we're here 30 years later. You know what I'm saying? 31 years later, we're here still talking about the things that he's doing now, still relevant now. So he's been able to sustain a career and withstand the pressure of living up to the album for the whole 30 years. He's done a great job of being able to do that, regardless to a lot of the backlash, sabotage. There's been a lot of sabotage and hate thrown at Nas's way via hip hop media ever since it was written. You know what I'm saying? There's always been a concerted effort by hip hop media and just mainstream media at large that covers music to downplay the greatness of Nas. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm used to it. The point is I'm used to it. You know what I mean? I immediately loved It Was Written. I thought It Was Written was better than Illmatic. I don't know if I still feel that way, but I remember when It Was Written came out, to me, it was a better album than Illmatic was. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you ask me today, I don't know. I don't know if I could say that for sure. But the fact that it's even a toss-up, the fact that it's even in the conversation, it says a lot, right? I Am came out to mixed reviews. Great album. You know what I'm saying? I think most people today would agree that it's a great album. But at the time, it was mixed reviews because everybody's expecting Illmatic. You know what I'm saying? Nostradamus is widely looked at by most people as Nas's probably his worst album. It's at the bottom of his catalog to most people. And so people say that album is trash. I love that album. I still play that album to this day. So I'm just giving y'all an idea of who y'all hearing from today. I'm giving y'all an idea of who the speaker is that's giving this review today. So to put everything in context, you know what I'm saying? To me, Nas doesn't have a bad album. I like all of Nas's albums. There's levels. Everything is not a 5 mic album. Everything is not, a home run out the park. No. But a whack album, I don't believe Nas ever made a whack album. I still play Nostradamus. I still play Untitled. Untitled is actually one of my favorite Nas albums. That album gets a lot of flack. You know what I'm saying? That album is usually at the bottom of people's lists as far as Nas's catalog. That's one of my personal favorites. You know what I'm saying? I like the double album. These are all albums that I still play. I still listen to these albums. The double album, Streets Disciple, the Untitled album, like I said, Hip Hop is Dead. These are the albums that have received the most criticism, you know what I'm saying, from Nas's catalog. Nasir album with Kanye West, produced by Kanye West. Nasir album. A lot of people got that at the bottom of Nas's catalog. And while some of them may belong at the bottom of his catalog, that doesn't mean that they're whack, though. You know what I'm saying? That just means they're not as good as Illmatic. They're not as good as It Was Written. They're not as good as Stillmatic. Not as good as Godson. So it's definitely levels to the shit. But the curse of Nas is it's always, every time Nas comes out, it's always either you're going to give us a classic or are we going to trash it? There's no in between with Nas. It's either a home run out the park or it's a dud. That's the type of criticism that it always is with Nas. That's how it always is. It's like, okay, either you're going to knock this shit out the park or we don't want it. And that's what's going on with this album right here. Because I agree with a lot of the criticism of this album out there. Do I think it's album of the year? No, I don't. Do I think that this is the best album of the Legend Has It series? No, I don't. Do I think it's a 5 mic album? No, I don't. But is it trash? Hell to the no. This album is dope. Let's be clear. Light Years is a dope ass album. Light Years is a dope ass album. It's not it's not okay. It's just not Illmatic. It doesn't. Here's the thing. Did it live up? Because these are the questions. We're gonna get these questions out the way early. Before we even get into the songs and what I think about the songs and all that, let's get it out the way early. What's the question? The question is, did it live up to the hype and the 30 years of anticipation and all of the ideas around a Nas DJ Premier album? Did it live up to that? No, it did not. And to be honest, I don't think it possibly could. I think that the build up to this album, the anticipation and the expectations around this album was a mountain of expectations that were insurmountable. It was insurmountable. If it wasn't going to give us 12 Nas's likes, then it was a failure. If you wasn't going to give us 15 New York State of Minds, it's a failure. Because that's the standard with Nas and with DJ Premier, especially DJ Premier with Nas. And so I don't have a problem with people being disappointed in the album, because to me, that solidifies and certifies the greatness of Nas. Because if you could make an album this good, you can make an album this dope, and people are still saying it's not good enough, that means the expectations are super duper high, which means you are highly regarded as an MC. You are highly regarded as a producer. If people's expectations of you are this high, if they're expecting that you could do another Illmatic, if they're expecting, for every song on this album to be a Nas's Like or I Gave You Power level, if those are the expectations, that just certifies who these guys really are. And so I'm okay with that, because the fact that they didn't live up to those expectations doesn't take any of that away. It doesn't diminish any of that. You know what I'm saying? It's just okay. It ain't Illmatic. It ain't Stillmatic. But it's a dope album. It's a great addition to the Nasir Jones discography. You know what I'm saying? I know for me as a Nas fan, this is just more ammunition to argue about the greatness of my favorite MC. This is just more proof and more ammunition. You know what I'm saying? For me to be able to use when we have those arguments at the barbershop. They added to that with this album right there, and with that, and so for that, I'm satisfied. You know what I'm saying? I didn't need it to be 5 mics. Before the album came out, I was saying, look, it's gonna be hard to make a better album than De La Soul just made. I don't know if Nas and Premier are gonna make a better album than what De La. I was saying this before the album dropped. I don't know if Nas and Premier is gonna make a better album than that Mobb Deep album. That Infinite album is incredible. The Cabin in the Sky album is incredible. I was saying with all of the expectations behind this album, with it being Nas, with it being DJ Premier, and what everybody's expecting, and then you add on the Legend Has It series on top of that, I was saying, whoa, you built the mighty high ladder. Let me see you climb up. You know what I mean? So for me, I feel like my expectations were in check a little bit. I didn't have these outlandish, ridiculous expectations. I wasn't saying, man, this Nas and Premier, man, this is gonna be the best album of the year. I already know. Like any other year, this might have been the best album. But this year, 2025, I already knew that was gonna be a hard motherfucking one to achieve right there. After all of these dope albums that we got in 2025, the Clips, Mobb Deep, De La Soul, JID, couple of projects from Westside Gun that was crazy. All of the shit that Alchemist was doing, Freddie Gibbs and Larry June, 2 Chainz, all of these dope ass projects that was coming out. I'm like, album of the year, that ain't gonna be no easy task. You know what I'm saying? And so when it came out and I listened to it and I didn't feel like it was the album of the year, that wasn't a disappointment to me. You know what I'm saying? That's not a letdown for me. My expectation was already in check. So it's like, okay, it's not album of the year. Let me see where I do rank it at though. How do I place this album? And so let's get into that, man. Let's talk about it. Let me see what y'all talking about in the chizat. Let me go back, see what y'all talking about in the chat. Okay, I gotta go back. I'm going back to see what y'all talking about because I was talking for a little minute. Nas' album is okay. No bad songs, but no bangers either. Yeah, I agree there's no bad songs, but there's definitely some bangers on here. I don't agree with that. Somebody said, Top Flight said I got to check it out tomorrow. Shout out to Top Flight in the building. All right. Peace, Life by D. Let me see. Somebody said I didn't like It Was Written when it came out. How you feel about It Was Written today, though? He said at the bar too high with Illmatic. He said the bar too high with Illmatic. All right. It's a gift and a curse. What's going on, brother Ish in the building? I just went live. I ain't been live that long. I've been on here about 15, 20 minutes already. I ain't been live that long. Peace to my brother Ish in the building. After several listens, this album is dope as fuck. Sometimes it takes a few listens to hit. Okay. It was written better than Illmatic? Never. I mean, a lot of people think that though. Like, again, I don't know if I would say that today, but at the time in 9-6, I definitely felt like it was a better album. And even for many years, you know, since then, I've been up and down with whether I think it was better or not. But a lot of people think that. I seen something recently where Jadakiss was saying that It Was Written is better than Illmatic. And I understand why people say that. That album is incredible. You know what I'm saying? One of the most creative LPs ever to hit stores. Yeah, that album is incredible. And he stepped his songwriting game up on It Was Written. You know what I'm saying? It's more musical than Illmatic was. Illmatic is just everything stripped down, just beats and rhymes. It's not even no real hooks and choruses on there. The hook is just whatever the name of the song is, you just repeat that a couple of times. That's the hook. You know what I'm saying? But the lyrical wizardry and the feeling that you got from the album is what solidified it, because at the time it was just nothing like it. You know what I mean? It just advanced the game so much more at the time that it came. But if Illmatic came out, you know, in 2004 instead of 1994, we wouldn't be talking about it the way that we talk about it. You know what I'm saying? It was just the timing of that album. And so It Was Written, although, you know, in some estimations, it's a better album, it's a better piece of music, it didn't set a new standard the way Illmatic did when it came out. So that's the reason why it's really arguable. You know what I'm saying? I Am was a whack album. Nas's Like was a banger, but the rest was weak. That's crazy. That's crazy. So F, where's Nas at on your all-time MC list? Where do you rank Nas at? You said I Am was a whack album. That's crazy. Illmatic is a pantheon level album in music, let alone hip hop. This is why none of Nas's other albums can come close. Right. Not right, but I understand that sentiment. I understand that sentiment. He said, no album with You Owe Me is good. You Owe Me still knocks. And they talked about that on the Joe Budden interview. Nas and Premier just, they just released the interview that they did with Joe Budden. I don't know if everybody had a chance to check that out. But that was one of the things that Joe Budden brought out. He was like, yo, Nas, you feel like, you've been judged unfairly. I don't know exactly how he worded the question, but he's like, you feel like, some of your stuff has been judged unfairly over the years. Do you feel vindicated that some of your stuff has had the staying power and it has aged well over time compared to how it was received when it first came out? And he used Owe Me Back as an example because Owe Me Back still bangs anywhere in the world. I was at the Nas concert this summer when he was performing in Atlanta. And when he did Owe Me Back, that was one of the most turned up moments in the whole situation. Like everybody turned up when that shit comes on. You know what I mean? I never understood the criticism of that song. I understood it because people wanted to keep Nas in this box of just being this street poet, only rapping to grimy boom bap beats and not doing anything to get any type of commercial success, mass appeal. You know what I mean? Radio, like they didn't want Nas to do none of that. They just wanted Nas to be Cool G rap. You know what I'm saying? And that's who Nas would have been if he would have just kept trying to repeat Illmatic over and over again. We wouldn't have Nas 30 years from now if his goal was to just fit inside that box that people wanted to put him in and never really expand and try different things with the music. If he would have just remained that street poet and just kept it all about the beats and rhymes, we wouldn't be talking about Nas right now 30 years, not doing anything current. He would have been a relic of the past. That's real. You know what I'm saying? So it's a good thing that he made songs like Owe Me Back and Uchi Wally and, some of the other songs that caught a lot of flack back in the days to become who he had to become to be able to do the things that he's doing now, because nobody else that's in position is paying homage to the legends the way that Nas is, creating a platform to give the legends the respect and the treatment that they deserve. But not just talking about the Legend Has It series, but when you look at the what's it called? The Masters Award ceremony. I forgot what it's called with the Paid in Full Foundation, where they giving awards to the Rakims, the G Raps, the Grand Poobahs, the Roxanne Shantays, the Grandmaster Kazes, and people like that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the unsung heroes are people that never really got compensated properly. You know what I'm saying? Not just giving them an award, but putting paper in their pocket and making sure that their healthcare and all of that is taken care of. Nobody else is doing that. And if Nas didn't make Owe Me Back and other songs like that he needed to be able to have a 30-year career sustained, then it wouldn't be getting done at all. It wouldn't be getting done at all. The Nasir album was not good. It's at the bottom. I like the Nasir album. Niggas can't tell me Adam and Eve is not a dope record. Niggas can't tell me, let me go to the track list out this bitch. Right, you know what I'm saying? We talk about light years today, but let me go to the track list. Let me go to the track list. Because it's only 7 songs, right? It's only 7 songs on the Nasir joint. Not for Radio is dope. Only thing I don't like about Cop Shot the Kid was Kanye verse. Kanye made that whack ass verse on his Red Hat shit. But other than that, that song is dope. White Label is a dope song. Bonjour is a dope song. Everything is bananas. Adam and Eve is bananas. And Simple Things is a dope song. I don't know. I don't know what people talking about. Even if you only want to go with the banana songs, Everything, Adam and Eve, and White Label, even if you only want to go with those 3, okay, 3 out of 7. 3 out of 7 ain't bad. But again, that's just me. You know what I'm saying? I respect other people's opinions. And like I said, me being a Nas fan, I'm used to the albums coming out to mixed reviews and everybody not loving it or feeling the way that I feel about it. I'm used to that. But I'm used to that with music in general. There's a lot of music that I fuck with that I don't know nobody else who likes this shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't need other people to like the shit I like in order for me to like it. You know what I'm saying? Other people's opinions don't validate the music for me. And that's the good thing about me, because it seems like other people need that. When I see people arguing in the comment section about this album, about this Light Years album, people that love the album, and they trying to argue with the people that don't like it and trying to convince them why they need to like the album, to me, that screams that you need other people's opinion to validate your own. I don't need that. I'm fine with people not liking the album. I'm used to people not liking the shit that I like. I'm used to that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a weird nigga. I got different kind of tastes. You know what I'm saying? So that's okay with me. Yeah, people, I don't know how they overlook the I Am album. The I Am album is ridiculous. Ladies love You Owe Me Back. That's facts. And dudes too. Owe Me Back. He, even on Owe Me Back, he still managed to say shit like pay me back like reparations to blacks. You know what I'm saying? He always gonna manage to say something important. You know what I mean? Owe me back like reparations to blacks. He still threw that in there. Light Years is far from trash, and I agree. Crackheads love crack too. Yeah. Nope, it didn't live up to the hype, and that's okay. Agreed. You didn't listen to the Mobb Deep joint yet. F, where are you from? Because he said the Clips album was mid too. Whew. Big Crit. I didn't finish listening to the Big Crit album, but from what I heard so far, that's a banger. Big Crit dropped a banger from what I heard so far. The Bun B and Corey Mo, I still didn't hit the play button on that. It's a lot of albums, important albums that came out this year that I didn't even get to listen to. Like, it was just a lot. It was just a lot to be able to get to everybody. I'm kind of hoping 2026 things slow down a little bit, so I have an opportunity to catch up with some of the joints that I missed, because I definitely want to get in tune with that Bun B joint. There were a couple of albums that I only got to listen to maybe once or twice that I want to go back to. But yeah, this was just a crazy album for hip-hop releases. Somebody said it's a solid 7.8, 7.5 through 8 for me. Not mad at that. Nas made a metaphysical album along with a time capsule for the Hip Hop Museum. You talking about the Light Years album? If you're talking about the Light Years album, that sounds accurate. That sounds accurate. What's going on, Project Leroy? Peace, peace, peace. Nas is dope. I don't like a few albums as a whole, but Nas is still a top tier artist. All right. Kool G Rap is overrated. Whoa. Jesus Christ. Kool G Rap is overrated. Kool G Rap doesn't get nearly enough props as he deserved. It's called Balance. I like the Nasir album, and Cop Shot the Kid is dope. Nas killed that. The Nas album is superior. You talking about the new album, Father Man Knows Best? Or what does that say? Father Alma Knows Best? Sons cuts deep for me. Yes, yes, yes. All right, so let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. So the first song on the album, My Life is Real, I thought that was a strong intro for the album. The way that joint came on, and I went live when I listened to it my first time. Y'all can check out the live reaction for me listening to the album the first time, because I'm glad I got, my authentic reaction documented. You know what I'm saying? Before you get influenced by the outside noise and, the comment section and other people's reviews and all of that, my shit is documented. You know what I mean? My shit is documented. So My Life is Real. I thought that was a real strong intro. The beat, the lyrics, it set a certain tone for where this was about to go. And for me, like I said, I put it up there with some of his best intros. I'm not saying it's the best intro, but I put it up there in the category with some of his best intros. You know what I'm saying? It's vintage Nas. You know what I'm saying? He's right in pocket. Nobody doubts the lyrical capability of Nas. I don't think that part is ever in question. I think most people that are criticizing the album are criticizing DJ Premier. People don't like the beats. Some people don't like the beats. And a lot of people that I hear saying that are some of the same people who were saying it before the album even came out. People had their mind made up. A lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people had their mind made up before the album even came out. They was already doubting DJ Premier. They don't think DJ Premier is going to be able to give Nas, the right type of beats that he needs and all that. And then when the album came out, they like, yeah, see, we knew it. DJ Premier sucks. He's washed up. He need to sit his old ass down. Don't nobody want to hear that old boom bap shit no more. I'm like, these niggas is talking crazy. Y'all niggas is talking crazy for real. That's saying that. You know what I'm saying? And also, y'all got to understand the creative process too. Because even if you don't like the beats, you can't really put all of it on DJ Premier. The criticism still has to go to both of them because it's a collaborative effort. And no choices were just made by one or the other. This was a collaboration. And a lot of the ideas, when you listen to the interview with him and Joe Buttons, a lot of the ideas came from Nas. And I already knew that before I listened to the interview with Joe Button, because when I listen to the music, I always have the ability, especially with hip hop music, to be able to reverse engineer how this was created, what the creator was thinking about when he wrote what he wrote, or when he made certain creative decisions or whatever, because I make music. You know what I'm saying? I write and record music. I've been doing that for a very long time. So being I know how it's done, I can get an idea of, where they was coming from with this, what gave birth to this idea, why they chose to go in this direction. And so I could tell by listening to it that some of these creative choices were Nas's ideas. I knew that before they said it, but they confirmed it in the interview with Joe Buttons, especially on the New York State of Mind joint, which we're going to get to in a second. But let's start out with the intro. The beat is dope. The scratches are on point, and Nas does what he does, man. Nas does what he does. I feel like it was a good way to intro the album. And from what I gathered off that interview too, this almost wasn't the intro. They was going to start it off with Get Ready. I think Get Ready was the working intro, and now it was Nas' idea to go back in and come up with something else because he wanted to do something that was more in this lane. I thought that was a good choice. Better way to start the album with this than Get Ready. Because on here, he's talking about Look at Us Now, De La, Mob, Ray, Ghost, Rick, Big Up, Big L, Prodigy, True Goy, They Live, Martyrs, if you will, A Legend Has It, Cartel, I'm on Jets with Giants, I'm Bill Parcells. You know what I mean? So recapping what essentially is the whole rollout to this album, which is the Legend Has It series. You know what I'm saying? At the very beginning of the album, you know what I mean? It just serves well as an introduction. You know what I mean? What a life. I'm a man. I'm going to die about it. Feel the pain, but I'm not going to cry about it. Tell the truth because ain't no reason to lie about it. And then the scratch. Invisible fingers playing chords on my haunted piano. And so that's not a scratch from like an old Nas record. That's a new Nas vocal that Premier scratched in there, which tells me that was a Nas idea. You know what I'm saying? Because again, I'm able to reverse engineer how this would come about because I work with a DJ / producer shout out to DJ RP Beats. My producer is a DJ / producer also, and he does scratches and cuts and all of that. And so sometimes I'll have an idea for a scratched hook, and I'll shoot him the idea. You know what I mean? He might have created a beat or whatever the case may be, and I'll get a certain idea from the beat. And I'm like, yo, so why don't you scratch this for the hook? And it might be something that's pre-existing, or it might be something that I just made up. And that was something that Nas just made up and was like, yo, scratch this up in there. Invisible fingers playing chords on my haunted piano because of the piano inside the beat. You know what I mean? So that was dope. And so, like I said, the second song is Get Ready. Now, Get Ready, and I haven't heard anybody point this out. But if you notice, the spelling of Get Ready is a capital G, I, capital T, ready. So what does that mean? Why did they spell it that way? Thought My Life Is Real should have closed the show. It could serve as either or, really. For this album, yeah, I think that would have worked. I think this could have worked as a closer as well. Eric Sermon new album is decent. Not effing with this album or De La's album. I like Eric Sermon album. Yeah, Eric Sermon made a dope album. That Duo's joint. That shit is dope. That shit is dope. But why did they spell get ready the way that they spelled get ready? Somebody said it. Shout out to Life by D. Get is in tech. Right. That's dealing with blockchain technology, ain't it? Information technology. Information technology. All right. So people have caught up to it. All right. People have caught on to it. The beats issue problem. The beats issue people are missing when it comes to Nas. It's really to hear what he's saying. I agree with that. Because it depends on the type of listener that you are. Some people don't pay attention to the lyrics of the song. Some people can hear a song a million times and not really know what the song is about. A lot of people just like to jam to the music. You know what I'm saying? It's the beat, it's the melody, and that's what gets them. You know what I mean? But for me, I'm a lyrics first person, and Nas is one of the foremost lyricists of all time. So when you go in the studio with a person like DJ Premier, you go in the studio with somebody like DJ Premier, he understands that his job is to create a canvas to be able to allow you to shine and do what you do. And I think Premier did a masterful job of that. So I totally disagree with the production criticism. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a producer. And so, you know, I know a lot of producers have a lot of their own critical feedback about, you know, maybe the sounds that he uses or the machines that he's using and stuff like that. I don't even get into all of that. For me, the beat is just about how it feels. You know what I mean? Did he create a pocket? Would I want to rhyme to that beat? That's really how I judge beats. Would I write to that beat? And for the most part, all of these are beats that I would have picked for the most part. You know what I mean? So that's that for me. MOP joint on the Eric Sermon album is fire. Yeah, that MOP joint is fire. It takes a few listens. When it comes to Nas, you'll miss something. Oh yeah, I mean, you're never gonna really digest all of Nas. It's too much. Like I said, I still play Illmatic today and catch shit that I ain't catch. You know what I'm saying? I know the whole album by heart. I could probably sing the damn album backwards, but I still will hear some shit and it'll take on a new meaning. Like, oh shit, I didn't even know he said that. You know what I mean? Nas kept referring to tech throughout the whole album. This is an outwardly album that's very technical and intentional, made a certain way for history. But yeah, specifically on this song, Get Ready, you know what I mean? He's talking about a lot of his investments, him being involved with tech heavy, you know what I mean? And he's flipping, he's talking about investing in tech the way that traditionally in hip hop, people talk about flipping birds. So, you know, in the beginning of his career, it was somehow the rap games remind me of the crack game. It was the rap game, crack game metaphor. And so now he's flipping that into the rap game and the tech game. You know what I'm saying? And I like how he opened it up with paying homage to Biggie, using the Biggie flow, interpolating Biggie's joint. You know, the Jesus, the king out of Queensbridge, at ease us with your lyrical thesis. Me just chilling, buildings, hot ceilings, billions, my vision, please. I'm from the P's. VVS on freeze, VSOPs, trees, Esco, Pablo, silked out in Cabo, the prettiest, high tech like NVIDIA. You know what I mean? So he go right into that. And I could tell from there, when he first started writing, he didn't know where the song was going. That line right there set the precedent for the song. Like, okay, that gave birth to the idea of what the song was going to be, what the song was going to be about. Silked out in Cabo, the prettiest, high tech like NVIDIA. That right there is what gave him the direction that he needed to go in. He said, not that smart, just know a little better about a lot. Let me see. Serial investors, serial killer threats, turn Ether to Ethereum. Y'all want to bet? You know what I mean? Turn Ether to Ethereum. And so this is the guy that invested in Coinbase early on. You know what I'm saying? This is the guy that invested in Coinbase early on. So who else should be rapping like this if not Nas? You know what I'm saying? I got a crypto key. It come with a password. Then I flip the key to digital cash work. You know what I'm saying? So again, the rap game, crack game. Now we flipping it to the blockchain. You know what I'm saying? I got a crypto key, it come with a password. Then I flip the key to digital cash work. Mr. Cryptocurrency Scarface, pay that nigga his chips. This beat is incredible. Preemo absolutely killed the scratches on here. You know what I'm saying? With the De La Soul shit. Pay that nigga his chips. And then the Q-tip, the boom, the bip, the boom bip, the Mr. Cryptocurrency Scarface. So again, they didn't scratch the cryptocurrency Scarface line from the Khaled song with Nas and Jay-Z. That was a new recording of him saying that. You know what I mean? That they incorporated into the hook. So let me go back. The first song, because I need to be rating these. So the first song, the intro for me is a 10. I give the first song, the intro is a 10 out of 10. Get Ready, that's an 8. Get Ready is a hard song. That's an 8. And now the third song is New York State of Mind Part 3. And now, again, I think this is where a lot of the contention lies. This is what upset a lot of people. So off top, I'm not going to sit here and tell y'all that New York State of Mind Part 3 is fucking with 1 or 2. I'm not going to sit here and tell y'all that. It's not. Just like this album doesn't live up to the hype that came along with it. You know, this album cannot be compared with some of Nas' best work. I agree with that. And I'm not going to sit here and tell y'all that New York State of Mind is on the same level of Part 1 or Part 2. It's just not. It's just not. But I like it, though. It's not a whack song. It's definitely not whack. Now, I seen a lot of the criticism about this song, again, was about DJ Premier. All of the criticism about the album seems to be about DJ Premier, but specifically on this song, people didn't like that Premier. It didn't feel like 1 and 2 felt like a marriage of each other from a production standpoint. Like he merged a lot of the sounds from the first one, and it felt like a remix of Part 1. He kept a lot of the same elements, and he just flipped it in a different way, and it felt more like a marriage between those two. Where this one is sonically is kind of divorced from 1 and 2. You know what I'm saying? And then they say that the Billy Joe sample was just a lazy, cliche, obvious choice. So it's like, oh, really, Preemo? The Billy Joe sample? That's what you're gonna do? New York State of Mind? Like, that's too predictable. So people are upset with Preemo for that. But again, y'all got to look at the interview with Joe Buttons. That was Nas's idea. It was Nas's idea to use the Billy Joe sample, and it was Nas's idea to do a Part 3. Preemo didn't even want to do it. Preemo didn't want to touch it. He didn't even want to do Part 2. He was like, nah, I don't think we should touch that. We need to leave that alone. Nas convinced him to do it. Part 2 worked out. Part 2 ended up working out because people love that record. I love that record. You know what I'm saying? This one, he didn't want to do it again. He like, oh, I don't know if we should touch that. Nas had to convince him. The Billy Joe sample was his choice. And so Premier basically just accepted the challenge and trusted Nas. He accepted the challenge and trusted Nas. Now, when that beat comes on, when the verses start, I don't know what's happening, but that shit is hard. Hold on. I want to play that. I can only play a couple of seconds, but I want to play when that beat first comes on. Hold on a second. Where we at? Hold on a second. Let me share my screen with y'all. Because when that beat drop, that shit make you want to throw the hoodie on, my nigga. That shit make you want to throw the hoodie on with the black chucker boots. You know what I'm saying? Hold on a second. Let me go here.
I'm in a New York state of mind.
Steel toe, construct, walk, Nike shorts, and night at court. Stress and cut your life short. I'm from egg rolls and duck sauce, where the feds roll.
That shit sound like some movie shit, like some Alfred Hitchcock, but like futuristic. Like, what was that movie? Sin City. That shit sound like that shit just ill. That beat is ill. When that beat switches up like that, that's one of my favorite joints on the album. That's one of my favorite instrumentals on the album. You know what I'm saying? But I can't give the song a 10. Because it definitely falls short from part 1 and part 2. Lyrically and just as an overall piece, it's not fucking with either one of those two. You know what I'm saying? So for New York State of Mind part 3, I'm gonna give it a 7. I like it. I don't love it. And it's certainly nowhere near part 1 and 2. You know what I'm saying? So that's New York State of Mind part 3. Anything else I want to mention about this song though, lyrically? I like how he was throwing it back to some of the lyrics from the other songs and all of that. You know what I mean? He does a lot of listing and shout outs throughout this album. Like he basically just named damn near all of the New York teams on here. A lot of the clubs, the Limelight, the Tunnel, Palladium. You know what I mean? But you know, he talks about the old New York, but he also is talking about New York now. Like New York is a different place now than it was in 1994 when they dropped Illmatic. And also Nas himself is in a different place and has a different relationship to the city than he did then. So he's not the nigga in the Project Hall no more. You know what I'm saying? He's not the nigga running through 4016 no more. You know what I'm saying? Rapping from that perspective. Now you the guy that owns restaurants in the city. You know what I'm saying? You got steakhouses in the city. You got a restaurant, Sweet Chicks up in Met Stadium and all of that. You know what I mean? You putting together shows at Yankee Stadium. You know, you about to build or expand a casino out there in Queens and all of that. You know what I'm saying? Your perspective on New York City is a totally different perspective than it was then. So this song matches, it makes sense with his current position and his current relationship to the city and all of the changes that the city itself has gone through. This song makes sense with that. It's just not as great of a story as the old one is, though. You know what I'm saying? So it makes sense what we got here. I ain't mad at it, but obviously, you know, it can't compare to the original, and the sequel. Let me see anything else. You know, yeah. All right. So what's the next record? The next record is Welcome to the Underground. Welcome to the Underground is the song that took the longest to grow on me. Welcome to the Underground. To me, it's a low point in the album. I like the song by itself, but it doesn't fit in the sequence of the album to me. You know what I'm saying? Lyrically, it does. The themes that he's rapping about, Welcome to the Underground, it matches the theme of the album, taking it back to the essence, taking it back to the purity of just beats and rhymes. And you know what I'm saying? What made us fall in love with this thing in the first place, just the creativity aspect of it all, you know, just pure hip hop. That's the stuff that he's talking about on the song. But the song doesn't sound like that and it doesn't feel like that. This is the least DJ Premier beat I ever heard in my life. This don't sound like no DJ Premier shit to me. You know what I'm saying? But as a standalone record, I think the song will work well, and so just like I said, it messes up the sequence of the album to me. It doesn't feel like it belongs on the album sonically, you know what I'm saying? Um and they also kind of let off with this song too, because this was the song that we got the snippet before the album dropped. And he performed it at the Amazon concert thing that he did after the NBA game the other night. So this is basically being treated as a single to the album. And so that makes me think, because nowadays Nas is doing things with a lot of intention behind it. And the intention is not always just to make a slapper that niggas is gonna love. That's not always the intention. And so what I mean is, when he dropped the Lost Tapes 2 project, the first single that was led off of that project was what was it called? The Rap Al Jarreau or something like that. What was the name of it? He was rapping, scatting, and all of that on there. Let me see. What was the name of that song? Where is it? What is it? A compilation? Yeah, Lost Tapes 2. Oh, the Jarreau of Rap. The Al Jarreau of Rap, featuring Al Jarreau and Kenyon Harold. Scat Attack is the parenthetical title. The Jarreau of Rap. That was the first single that was released off of the album. Weird ass song. Like, it just sounds weird. You know what I mean? But come to find out that he made like $2 million from a sync license off of that song. You know what I'm saying? So the choice for him to release that song at all, never mind as a single, it was a business choice, because there was a company that wanted to use it. I forgot if it was a movie or a documentary or something that they wanted to use the song for, and Nas got paid $2 million for the sync license off that song. So it wasn't really a creative choice. That was a business choice. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't about like, oh, I'm gonna drop this song, they're gonna love this one, or I'm gonna have the streets on fire with this one. He wasn't thinking that when he dropped that. He was like, okay, let's get this sync license popping. And so I suspect that there's some type of deal like that going on with this song too. And I just feel like that because the songs just sound so different. You know what I mean? It don't really fit in the sequence of the album, like I said, and they let off with it, which it doesn't really set the tone for what we're about to get with this album. I thought if they would have went with a single and they would have came out with a song like Writers as the first single, I think that would have really set the stage and got people acclimated to what this album was going to be about. Got people ready for what this album was going to be about. It would have set more of a tone if they would have led with a single like Writers. You know what I mean? It had a video with the graffiti artists and everybody doing their thing. Then people would have understood, okay, this is about to be, an album that's paying homage to the elements of hip hop and the purity of hip hop and all of that. You know what I'm saying? So this album is going back to the essence. That's what this is about to be. I think people would have been more prepared, and they probably would have been more well received. But to lead off with the Welcome to the Underground joint kind of throw people off, because first of all, just sonically, it's like, okay, what is this? It take you a minute to even get into it, kind of bopping your head a little bit, like Nas is kind of rapping out of pocket. It seemed like he's struggling to find the pocket. He's fighting with the beat a little bit up until the end. As the song goes on, it gets better and better. But like in the beginning of the song, especially with that little snippet, couple second snippet, people was like, oh, what's this? You know what I'm saying? And so this was a low point in the album for me. I like the song. I just wish it wasn't on the album. I don't know how to rank that in that case. It's like a 4 or 5. It's like a 4 or 5. Something like that. So is anybody keeping score? I should probably be writing this down, right? Let me write these down so I can see exactly what the rating is going to be. So track 1, I gave it a 10. All right. Let me go back. Life is real. My Life is Real. I gave it a 10. Track 2 was Get Ready. I gave that an 8. Track 3 was New York State of Mind. I gave it a 7. I thought it was a solid song. Track number 4 is Welcome to the Underground. I'm gonna give it on the low end. I'm gonna give it a 4. Track number 4, I give it a 4. So we got a 10, a 7, and a 4 so far. All right. Da-da-da. What's the next record? The next record is Madman. Madman is incredible. Madman is a 10. I'm gonna just say that off top. Number 5, Madman is a 10. The beats, the rhymes, everything, the scratches, everything. Even the little intro skit that they use. I don't know where that came from, but they interviewing somebody on there. They ask them, how do you feel about the music business now, in general, right now, in comparison to before when you first got started? And it's like, well, there's much more respect. They respect it as an art form now, and I think I feel like I know who that is. I think it's like a older jazz artist that they speaking to, or maybe like Howlin' Wolf or somebody like that they speaking to. I'm not sure. I can't put my thumb on who it is. But whoever they speaking to, he said, well, there's much more respect now. They respect it as an art form. And they said, well, how were the feelings back then when you first got started? And he just says, nigga music. And then the beat comes in. I don't give a goddamn. The jizza scratch. It's Nas, murderous material made by a madman. The Inspector Deck. I don't give a goddamn. It's Nas, murderous material made by a madman. This song is incredible. Let's Cop Acres. Do This for Thinkers. Salute to Sasha Jenkins. R.I.P. Sasha Jenkins. Big part of Mass Appeal. Great documentarian, hip-hop historian, journalist, Sasha Jenkins. Recently went back to the Essence. Nas had a real close relationship with Sasha Jenkins. So he started off, paying homage to that. Door Knocker Fly Ladies, Gucci Link Gangsters, and rappers that use one producer. I like that. I like how he's putting a stamp on the things that he really doesn't get credit for. You know what I'm saying? He said rappers that use one producer. The Metro Boomin and Future, We Still Don't Trust You. Didn't start it, but I boosted it. I figured I'd bring it back since multiple hit makers on one album, I introduced it. And so, for those that don't know, when the Illmatic came out and he had DJ Premier, Large Professor, Q-Tip, Pete Rock, LES, all these different producers come together to produce one album, that was a new precedent. Prior to that, most albums were made by one producer or a team of producers, a production team. You know what I'm saying? Nas changed that when he came out with Illmatic, and then it became a popular thing to use multiple producers on your album. You know what I'm saying? And then with the King's Disease series, with him going in with Hit Boy, King's Disease, and Magic, the double trilogies, using one producer, that repopularized it. So he didn't invent it, he didn't create it, he wasn't the first one to do it, but it popularized the theme of rappers going in with one producer. It was already happening. Again, he wasn't the first one to do it, but he made it popular. Now it's a thing again. You know what I'm saying? People are talking about which rapper should go in with which producer, and you know what I'm saying? And you see it happening a lot now. So he taking his props for the things that he influenced. Also, I made hip hop symphony shows start to spread. Big facts. Now, I don't know if anybody did that before him. He did the first one, and I think it was 2014. One of the anniversary of Illmatic. This one right here, live at the Kennedy Center. When was this? I think it was in 2014, if I ain't mistaken. I think this was in 2014. 2 decades after the album's critically acclaimed release, Nas has teamed up with the National Symphony Orchestra at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. to stage a symphonic rendition of Illmatic, one of Nas' most revered albums in hip-hop, greatest hip-hop record of all time. What year was it, though? I don't know. I don't see the copyright on there. I think it was 2014. I think it was the anniversary, 20th anniversary or whatever it was for Illmatic. I don't know if anybody did that before him though. Y'all let me know in the chat. Did anybody perform with the orchestra before Nas? Any rappers? But either way, if they did, it still wasn't a popular thing to do until after he did it with this one right here. And so I know Jeezy did one recently. Who else? Who else did the symphony joint? A couple of other rappers, drawing a blank right now, but a couple other rappers since then have gone out and performed some of their best records, from their catalog with a symphony, with an orchestra. Y'all let me know in the chat who I'm forgetting about. But yeah, I like that he took his props for that. Let me see what else. It be tradition. It be tradition. Hate they wishing on me. They try to switch the story so they don't look like a bitch in the story. That's facts. It's a tradition to hate on Nas. It's a tradition to hate on Nas. When this album came out, I see it. It's a lot of bots. Every album, even with all the Hit Boy albums and all of that, every time Nas drop an album, it's like a bunch of bots that come out and trash the album immediately. I ain't saying there ain't real people that don't like the album. There is some real people out there too, but it's a lot of bots, man. You see a lot of bots in these comment sections just going in on Nas. So again, there's always been a concerted effort to downplay the greatness of Nas. It's a tradition. The hate they wishing on me. They try to switch the story so they don't look like a bitch in the story. And now, one of the culprits of that, to me, I'm gonna have to say is Elliott Wilson and even B Dot. And B Dot is from Queens. B Dot, he recently did the Levi campaign. They did a merch collaboration with Nas. They had B Dot modeling in the campaign or whatever. And also the Elliott Wilson nigga leading up to this album, I seen him. He started posting pictures with him, old pictures of him wearing Nas shirts and tweeting about Nas album and different things around the album that was coming out. But if you go to his Twitter and go back in his timeline, he barely ever mentioned Nas. The whole Hit Boy run, he wasn't saying nothing. They ain't do no interviews with him. Elliott Wilson was over there at XXL magazine when Nas was going to war with magazines. I don't know if a lot of y'all remember during those days of print media, Nas was going to war with radio. He was going to war with the magazines. He was at war with the media. I forgot which magazine cover when he was on it. He was burning all the magazine covers with him on it. I think that might have been a XXL cover or a Source magazine cover where he was standing there with all the magazines burning around him. You know what I'm saying? Because again, there's always been a concerted effort to downplay the greatness of Nas. Always been. And a lot of these journalists, a lot of these hip-hop journalists that's still around, a lot of y'all is guilty. But now, when you see everything that he's doing and how his position is pretty much undeniable at this point, he done stretched things out so far, it's going to be hard for anybody to catch up with all the shit that he's doing to solidify his position. So now they try to switch the story so they don't sound like a bitch in the story. Y'all trying to reposition yourself to act like y'all was championing Nas the whole time, and y'all wasn't. A lot of y'all wasn't. That's real shit. What else? I don't know. We're gonna keep it moving, but that's a 10. Pause Tapes is another 10. Track number 6. Pause Tapes is another 10. Incredible record. The beat is dope. The pocket that Premier created for him to rock on in that. Very simplistic. I don't know what people was expecting when they thought Nas and Premier was going to get together. Like Premier, his production is minimal. You know what I'm saying? He don't try to do too much. He creates the perfect canvas for the MC to be able to rock and do what they do. You know what I'm saying? But conceptually, when I first saw the title, I knew what they was talking about. I knew what pause tapes was about because I lived it. You know what I'm saying? When we was making pause tapes back in the days, that just came out of necessity because I needed beats to rhyme to. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even know pause tapes was a thing when I was doing it. I didn't even know that that was a thing. I didn't even know that that was kind of producing in a way. It was just out of necessity because if I ain't have an instrumental to a beat that I wanted to rhyme to, I would just be in my room freestyling over top of the song. I just hit play on the song and just start rapping over top of the song. You know what I'm saying? Until I had an epiphany. Came with last on the symphony. Until I had an epiphany and realized, oh shit, it's a little bit of the beat playing at the end of the song. Let me record that piece right there. Pause the tape, rewind it, keep recording it, going back and forth doing that until I got, 2, 3, 4 minutes of an instrumental that I could rhyme over top of. And so when I was doing that, when I'm 11, 12, 13 years old, I didn't know that that was a thing. I didn't know that that's what a lot of people that went on to become legendary producers like Havoc, who's speaking at the beginning of the record, I didn't know that that was their origin. You know what I'm saying? That was just something that we did out of necessity. You know what I mean? So when I saw the title, I knew what it was going to be about. I just didn't know how it was going to be executed. And so it was a flawless execution. You know what I'm saying? For him to be able to describe it in that way. Nas, to me, has always been the most descriptive MC. He knows how to paint a picture so vividly, like you could, it's like you there. Whatever he's describing, it's like you there. You know what I'm saying? Silk shirts in my chest show, what a flirt. Holly Berry blew a kiss at the Barbra Streisand concert. You know what I mean? Like you could just envision everything. It don't even take a lot of words. It don't even take a lot of bars. Nas could tell you a whole story in like 2 to 4 bars. A whole story from beginning to end. It got characters, all that. It got a climax, everything within like 2 to 4 bars. He's very precise and descriptive and detailed with his words. And so with this, he did a masterful job. You know what I mean? They start off with the intro from Havoc, explaining the pause tape thing and how it works and how he got started, how he made his first beat. And then Nas comes in. It's like a drive-in movie. No roofs on a bunch of Benzes. Right there, you can already picture it. It's already a visualization. It's like a drive-in movie. No roofs on a bunch of Benzes. Right? Let's try to reimagine the passion when I got in this. A Panasonic with the tape recorder, trying to level the treble and bass in order. The station sound distorted. You know what I'm saying? Listen to that. This is what we had to do. And to be able to put this in rhyme form and be lyrical and on the beat and not be corny, you know what I'm saying? That's incredible right there. A Panasonic with the tape recorder, trying to level the treble and bass in order. The station sound distorted. I moved the dial to improve the sound. Years later, I got a Sony stereo system. No comparison with the boombox. My living room knocks. My nigga Mayo next door, he banging on the wall, told us to stop. Like, come on, man. You could just imagine it, even if you never lived it. You could envision this shit. Nigga in the projects, you know what I'm saying, got the boombox up loud, making a pause tape. That's annoying. If you next door listening to that shit, all you keep hearing is this loop over and over again. This nigga keep rewinding and playing the same loop over and over again, and you next door listening to that shit, you're like, yo, turn that shit down, my nigga. What the fuck is you doing? Fuck is you doing over there? But this is the origin story. This is how it started. Without this, we don't get Nas. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. The music saving our lives. Just listen, getting fired. All right. Let me go down. That's when I had an epiphany. Came with last on the symphony. If I could set a posse cut off, that'd be my entry. I know I got some real heads up in here right now. Right? He said, that's when I had an epiphany. Came with last on the symphony. If I could set a posse cut off, that'd be my entry. What was Nas' entry into the game, y'all? What was Nas' entry into the game? This song is a 10, by the way. I don't know if I said that. Pause tapes is a 10. So far, we got a 10, a 8, a 7, a 4, A 10 and a 10. He was in the mood for the hip hop museum. That's why he made historical songs. Exactly. This album, the theme of this album makes sense for Nas to do at this point in time because of everything that he got going on. When you think about the hip hop museum, when you think about the Legend Has It series, all of the stuff going on with Mass Appeal, he did the documentary on Video Music Box. He was involved with the Hamilton play. Also, I don't know if y'all watched the Netflix show a couple of years back called The Get Down about the origins of hip hop. Nas was a big part of that. He wrote a lot of the rhymes for that series right there, which was incredible. His writing on this album reminds me of his writing on that show, The Get Down. If you never saw The Get Down, I don't know if it's still on Netflix. But that show is dope. That's a dope ass show. And Nas' pen is super elite. When you go back to that show and study the writing, what Nas had to do is like Nas had to transport himself back to the 70s and back to the early 80s. No, it was the 70s, back into the 70s, and embody the spirit of the MC that existed then, before his style was even created, before Nas' style was even created. So now he got to deconstruct himself as an MC to go back to a time where the style was more simplistic, it was more straightforward, it wasn't as intricate, it wasn't as complex. And he had to craft rhymes that would fit that criteria and that standard and still be dope. Go back and watch that show, To Get Down. His writing on this album reminds me the most of that because of the themes and because of the creative choices, the direction. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, y'all said it. Live at the Barbecue. Live at the Barbecue. Live at the Barbecue was Nas' entry into the game. And so he had an epiphany. Came with Last on the Symphony. If I could set a posse cut off, that'd be my entry. And so his entry was a posse cut. Live at the Barbecue. Live at the Barbecue. All right? Ron G's in the cassette deck. Rocking this shit, G. You know, throw back to One Time for Your Mind. Surprised I opened a bombshell in my mind. And my mind tells me I could hook a beat up for myself to rhyme. So again, he had that epiphany. He had an epiphany. Damn, I ain't got no beats to rhyme to. How can I solve this problem? Pause tapes. This is how pause tapes came about. We didn't even have to teach each other this shit. Nobody taught me that. Nobody taught me that. There was no instructions. There was no YouTube tutorials. We learned this shit through osmosis from each other. It was all born out of necessity, the desire and the hunger to get in the game, to become a MC, to become a part of this thing that we love so much, to be able to play our part and add our 2 cents. We had to figure out a way. And that's what gave birth to the pause tapes. Nobody had to teach us. We just had to have the desire to want to be a part of this shit. So I could hook a beat up for myself to rhyme. My mom's whole closet and boxes, all kind of shit. Johnny Taylor records, some good Grover Washingtons. I'm locking in. That's my favorite part on the joint too, right there. Just the way he flowed on that beat right there. It was real stylish. Grab a piece of vinyl, drop the needle at the top, listen for the beat to rock. 90-minute tape. I got enough time to play it one time, 4 bars, press record, then press pause, then restart, record, loop, repeat. Do that about 20 times, then I made my first beat. Pause tapes. So again, the descriptiveness, the detail to be able to describe exactly what we had to do in order for us to be creative in this thing, to be able to describe that in rhyme form and make it dope and sit in the pocket of the beat and all of that shit. It's just an incredible, it's a masterful display of MCing. It's a masterful display of MCing, and it's a masterful display of producing as well on Premier's behalf. He did exactly what was needed. He did exactly what was needed in order for this joint to be executed. That's a 10. The next song is another 10, y'all. I'm sorry. Y'all not gonna get me to try to shit on this album. Number 7 is Writers. Number 7 is Writers. Writers is a 10. It might be my favorite song. It might even be my favorite song, and I'm not a graffiti artist. I used to tag up, though. We all did that. We all did that. We all tried our hand at break dancing, tagging up, tried to DJ a little bit. Back in the day, you tried everything. You tried everything. I wasn't a good artist, but I used to tag my name up, though. And so the concept of this song is one thing to just do a song shouting out legendary graffiti artists, giving props to that element of hip hop, which is kind of a overlooked, I ain't gonna say lost, but just an overlooked, underappreciated element of hip hop, which is graffiti art. It's one thing to do a song paying homage to that, but it's a whole nother thing to take that concept where you turn yourself lyrically into a graffiti artist and you use the microphone as your marker in order to tag up these names. Because like somebody has been saying in the chat, the aim of this album was the same aim that he's in with the museum. They're trying to curate hip hop history. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to give everything that it took to create this art form its proper respect and to archive it into a museum. And so Nas is using this album as an extension of that. You know what I'm saying? And so to take the concept, and this album has the most concepts of any of Nas's albums too, by the way. Probably the closest one is another one of his underrated albums, Hip Hop is Dead. Hip Hop is Dead had a few concepts on it, kind of reminiscent of this too. Because on the Hip Hop is Dead album, he had a song called Where Are They Now? Where he was shouting out all of the unsung heroes of rap. You know what I'm saying? He had a song called Who Killed It? Where he plays a detective. He's rhyming from the perspective of a detective, a Sherlock Holmes type of detective. He changed his voice and everything, where he's investigating, you know, who killed hip hop. Look here, see? Two-faced out. He said, look here, see? Money Mike shanked Two-Faced Al over some gal. I forgot the words. But if you know, you know. If you don't know, you need to go check that out. The song is called Who Killed It? Brilliant. Brilliant. And so this album is very reminiscent of that. It's almost you could say it's almost like a flip side of Hip Hop is Dead. You know what I'm saying? Because this one is celebrating how hip hop is still alive. You know what I mean? And so yeah. So like I said, it's one thing to just have the wherewithal to give props to the graffiti artist in the first place. It's another thing to metaphorically turn yourself into a graffiti artist within the song and use the mic as a marker to tag up the names of the people that usually get overlooked. So here's my galactic citizenship card. Interplanetary mission. I've been discharged to hit y'all. No ancillary staff will assist me. I'm about to show you what the writers list be. See, I'm a writer in rap form, but these are writers that bomb trains on subway platforms. Courageous, the bravest street creators. They synonymous with DJs, rappers, and breakers. All right, so it's a hip hop history lesson for the uninitiated, for the people that don't know, but it's also a display of lyrical mastery at the same time. All right. So, and also, I think this is my favorite hook. I think this is my favorite hook on the album. Sometimes at night, I will walk with a pen, with a marker, or even some chalk, writing my name on graffiti. Yes, indeedy, I wrote graffiti. So Premier scratching in the Rakim shit and the Far Side shit. But with Nas, sometimes at night, I will walk with a pen or with a marker or even some chalk. For those that don't know or didn't catch it, that's a Rakim flow right there. That's Rakim flow right there. I want to relax in my room and escape from New York and return to the womb of the world as a thought. That's that flow right there. You know what I'm saying? So all types of homage is being paid simultaneously. You know what I'm saying? What do you call it? you know, just outwardly and subtly. All types of homage is being paid just on many different levels. Sometimes at night, I would walk with a pen or a marker or Eve with some chalk, writing my name in graffiti. That's incredible, man. Yes, indeedy. I wrote graffiti, you know, and then he does a good job of, you know, shouting out as many names as he possibly could. I don't know if he even left anybody out. Most of these people I never even heard of. You know what I'm saying? And it was brilliant for him to do this because just like on the ladies joint, the Bouquet joint, and that might be next. No, that's not next. Not quite next yet. Yeah, that's not next yet. But shouting all these people out in this era, in the social media era, it's a brilliant move because everybody automatically gonna repost it. Everybody that got a shout out, they reposting your shit. You know what I'm saying? Especially the ones that appreciate it. The ones that can appreciate being shouted out on an album like this by somebody of Nas's stature, whatever the case may be, they're gonna repost it. They're gonna make videos about it. They're gonna be talking about it. You know what I'm saying? So that creates chatter, that creates momentum, all of those things. So you killing multiple birds with one stone by doing something like this. You know, on top of it being an incredible record on its own. I thought the album should have led with this record, to be honest. You know what I mean? And then the next song, which I'm hearing is a lot of people's favorite song, is called Sons, Young Kings. And as I suspected before the album dropped, it's the flip side of the daughter song. So on this song, he paying homage to the sons, to the young kings. Dope song, man. Something different for DJ Premier. I thought DJ Premier captured the right mood for this song, captured the right emotion for this song. The song does get you a little bit emotional, especially if you're a father, if you're raising boys, young men. Certain parts of it, even if you're not, I think, even if you a son yourself, you know what I'm saying? Whether you was raised by your father or your mother, because he speaks about it from all of those different angles. You know what I'm saying? It's about the sons. It's not really about the fathers or the mothers, but everybody's included in the record. So I think anybody could really relate to it. You know what I'm saying? Whether you have a son or whether you are a son, I think most people can relate to it. And, you know, some of it, when you really sit with this record, can be a little bit of a tearjerker. You know what I'm saying? And again, him being as descriptive as he is, one of my favorite parts. Oh, where is it? Oh, and I love the Noriega scratch. Meet the glorious king. You know what I'm saying? To my brothers with sons, let them run. To my brothers with sons, so fun. I pray you both share the most powerful bond, a little different from him and his mom. To my sisters with boys, the joy. To my sisters with boys, enjoy. Tell them stand tall. Know he should go for it all. Meet the glorious king. That's a dope ass scratch, man. Preemo know how to just not do too much and just do exactly what is needed. But where's those lines, man? Is this it? Playing with toys. Yo, she got us Atari. Those Miss Ann's boys. Nasir and Jabari. No. Not that. Where is it? Might have been in the first verse. Let me go back. Let me go back. I'm trying to find the part when he was talking about the crosswalk sign. Where is that? I don't see it. Oh, I used to look up at the crosses signs on the second verse. Getting off the city bus, the memories rush. I used to look up at the crossing sign. A child with a grown up holding his arm while I was walking with my mom. I pointed at it, automatic. I saw it as a little boy who was the baddest. Like, don't let him run in traffic. I really thought the crossing sign was me and my mom. Like, who thought we was that important for a street sign? One year she told me that the sign was for everybody. I'm like, but we ain't everybody now. We special, mommy. That part right there, that's my favorite part. Again, Nas just being super descriptive with the lyrics. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about being a little boy. And remember how your mind worked too. That's another thing. How your mind worked when you was a little boy versus, when you get older and your brain develops more and you're able to rationalize things a little bit differently. When you're a kid, your mind, your imagination is totally different. So you could absolutely see that. A kid thinking something like that, like, damn, that's me and my mom's right there. Up on the sign right there. They made a sign just for me and my mom's, because you walking, you walking this path every day. Your mom's taking you to school or getting you off the school bus or whatever, and you cross this street every day and you see that sign. You thinking it's just about y'all. You think the whole world is just your world. You know what I'm saying? And so you looking up at that sign like, damn, they must think me and my mom's real special. They created a whole sign just for us because he see himself in that little boy who his mom's trying to tell him, let me hold your hands while we cross this street. Y'all understand what I'm trying to say. Y'all understand what I'm trying to say. I just thought that was dope, man. I thought that was dope, man. And that was some real Nas-like shit. You know what I mean? Next song is Time. That's another concept record. Ayo, Black is Time. And so he's touching on the theory of time. You know what I'm saying? All the different lyrics and innuendos and references that have to do with time. And your time flows through me. How many rhyme flows and lines can I recite with my eyes closed? Let me see. Yo, let's shoot this movie. Smoothie. Listen to me. Let's get into the past long before the new me. They be messing up some of the lyrics on Genius. That's why y'all see me here. They be messing up some of the lyrics. Let me see. I saw a brother fresh home. He just walked down 20. So again, referring to time. Everything is referring to time. I think you know what time it is. I like the scratches on there. The Beastie Boys. I just don't like hearing Fat Joe's voice at all, to be honest. I just don't like hearing Fat Joe's voice, but the scratch works. The scratch works for the record. I use every second as a weapon. Every minute keeps on slipping. Time is a construct of your limits. The Big Bang to now, evolution to how little time mankind has really been around. A grown man over 50 perspective. Is there an age limit to disc records, or may it just be a message? You know what I mean? So everything is just relative to time and what time means and the illusion of time and how it's a construct and, aging and all of those different things relevant to time. Dope concept, dope beat, dope record. Time, I will give it, this is number 8. I will give it a 7.5. I'll give that record a 7.5. Dope record. It ain't one of those ones, but it's a dope record. Nasty Esco Nasir. Nasty Esco Nasir alone is worth the ticket price, goddammit. Number 9, that's another 10. Nasty Esco Nasir. This record alone is worth the ticket price. I think this record right here, it has every element that anybody could have expected or asked for from Nas and Preemo collaboration. This record right here epitomizes everything that people was actually expecting to get from the Light Years album when it came to Nas. As far as the beat, as far as the concept, as far as the execution, just all of it. Nas went absolutely nuts on this shit right here. This is one of those things, again, for any Nas fan, this is just another weapon in your arsenal to be able to prove when you say Nas is the best MC, when you say Nas is the greatest MC, this is just more proof. You know what I mean? This is one of those things that only Nas could do the way that he do it. You know what I'm saying? Only Nas could do these type of things the way that he does them, man. You could tell they don't understand some of the culture when they get certain lyrics wrong on them sites like Genius. Yeah. Say, yeah, people outside the culture be knowing the lyrics on Genius. Yeah, they be messing up the lyrics. Time travel, reflection, introspection, evolution. Yeah, all of those things. All of those things. But yeah, this song right here. So the concept is basically Nas suffering from a little bit of a multiple personality disorder situation. It's where you got Nasty Nas, you got Nasir Jones, and you got Escobar, all kind of giving their perspective. But you got Nasty Nas and Escobar kind of going at each other, kind of battling each other. You know what I'm saying? And when I first heard the song, I thought that they both killed each other. The more I listened to it, I was thinking Nasty Nas killed Esco. But in the interview, in the Joe Budden interview, when he talked about it, I think he did say that they both killed each other off in the song. What y'all think? What did y'all get out of that? Did y'all think one killed the other, or you think they both killed each other off? Well, I don't know how to say your name. Boda BFM. Appreciate the super chat. Definitely appreciate the super chat. But what did you think happened at the end of that record? Who killed who on that record? But anyway, I guess I got to explain for people that don't know, because everybody that watch the channel don't fuck with Nas like that. Niggas don't really know the whole story behind it and shit like that. Man, I miss enjoying hip hop. I ain't been the same since they took Rap City and 106 and Park off the air. I don't know, man. I think it depends on where we are, because I went a long time feeling like that too. And what I've learned over the last 2 years is that a lot of the hip hop that we say has been missing, it really been here the whole time. We just had to search for it, and we had to be at a place in our lives where we can receive it also. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm catching up on a lot of dope shit that came out over the last decade that I missed because I was so jaded and I felt like it didn't exist no more. It couldn't be created no more. The people that was doing it, I didn't even give them a chance. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people that was been doing this shit for a minute, holding this shit down, Mark Marciano and people like that. What's my man name out of Detroit? Boldy James and these niggas like that. I'm just now catching up on a lot of shit they've been doing over the last 10 years. Dope, incredible shit. Shit been here the whole time. I just wasn't able to receive it because I felt like, man, it's never going to be the same again. You know what I mean? But now that I'm catching up, you know what I mean, I'm realizing it was me. It wasn't really the state of hip hop. It was the state of sincere love to God. You know what I mean? But again, for people that don't know, Nasty Nas was one of the early names of Nas when he first came out, you know, before he actually dropped Illmatic and just went by Nas. He went by Nasty Nas. And so the guy that we get on the Illmatic album is Nasty Nas. On the It Was Written album, we get introduced to Nas Escobar, the mafioso character that's more into materialistic things, and you know what I'm saying, it's almost a kind of a departure from the street poet, just a kid in the projects with the imagination that just wants to be a dope rapper that's trying to write some shit to impress G-Rap. It's kind of a departure from that to somebody who's trying to keep up with, you know, what's going on in the game, what Biggie Smalls was doing, you know, what Snoop was doing, and, you know, all of these other guys who were ruling the charts with their sound. You know, this was Nas trying to keep up with that to a certain degree. And so we got introduced to that character on the It Was Written album. And so these two have a battle on this song, Nasty Nas and Escobar. They're going at each other, you know, fighting for dominance and superiority. And then I guess they both kill each other off And we get to hear from Nasir Jones, the man that we have today, who's doing all the business moves, who's making all the investments in tech, and, you know, who's running Mass Appeal and paying homage to all the lessons and bringing it back to the essence, and, you know, all of the things that we see him doing now as Nasir. We get that aspect. He actually opens up the song too. You know what I mean? He's the narrator of the song. And then the characters of Nasty Nas and Esco come in, battle it out, get into it with each other, kill each other off, and then Nasir comes back to do basically like a little autobiography at the end. You know what I mean? To talk about all of the stuff that he is now and everything that he got going on now. Dope, just dope ass record, man. That Rock Marcy is fire. With the Rock Marcy that DJ Premier produced, you like that? Because I seen that kind of had mixed reviews too. That was one of the reasons why people was sleeping on Preemo being able to deliver with this Nas album, because people didn't like the Rock Marcy joint. I thought it was dope. I thought the Rock Marcy joint was dope, and the Ransom shit was dope. And he definitely killed it on Daylight album. Ka, Rock Marcy held it down. Yeah, people like that. People like that. I was overlooking them niggas for years. I heard about them. You know what I'm saying? I would see their shit pop up here and there, and I would see the blogs talking about them and shit like that. And I just never bothered to hit the play button. But I'm catching up now, though. All right, where we at? After Nasty Esco Nasir, that was a 10, by the way. Where we at? My Story, Your Story with AZ. My Story, Your Story with AZ. What did y'all think about this record? I love this record, man. I seen people wasn't happy with this record. That threw me off. When I seen people wasn't happy with this record, I'm like, what did y'all want? You know, like AZ said at the end of the joint, like, what more y'all want? This what y'all wanted, right? I thought this what y'all wanted right here. Now, if you one of the people that's looking at the album in totality and your critique is it don't fit in the sequence well or something like that, you know, I might could get with you a little bit. But just you don't like this song. Premier dropped the ball on the Nas AZ collab. What? I don't know what y'all hearing, man. I love this song right here. And really, my favorite part of the song is when they're not even rapping. When they just chopping it up at the end of the record, like, yo, you know, talking about where they at now and, you know, what they brought to the table and all of that shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a good feeling. You know what I mean? I'm smiling the whole time I'm listening to these niggas. I could just picture these niggas in the booth dapping each other up, smiling, you know, sipping whatever they sipping on. And I'm smiling the whole time listening to this shit like I'm there, like I'm a part of it. You know what I mean? Like I can relate to these niggas being homies all of these years, being creative partners and frequent collaborators all of these years, the history that they put down, the legacy that they have together and as individuals, you know what I'm saying? Being at this point in their career to come back to do this record with Premier, My Story, Your Story. They flowing. Y'all can't tell me they not flowing. Y'all don't like the beat? Y'all don't like this instrumental? I think it's dope. So I said, Nas and AZ collab is up next. I think you might be right. People wasn't happy with AZ joint. They ain't hip hop heads. They casuals, in your opinion. All right, see, that's why I disagree. I disagree with you, my brother. You know what I'm saying? I didn't like that AZ album. You talking about the AZ album that he did with Buck Wild? Produced by Buck Wild? I ain't really like it. Just like the Common and Pete Rock album, the Auditoria album, I ain't really like it. You know what I'm saying? But that means I'm not a real hip-hop head because I don't like it. Nah, I don't agree with that. Just like the people who don't like this album, I'm not here to tell y'all not real hip-hop heads or y'all don't know shit about hip-hop or you must be young or whatever. Like, Like, nah, your opinion is your opinion. You don't like it, I love it. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't really like the Pete Rock and Common album, like, at all. Like, I don't even got no favorite songs off of that album that I added to the playlist or nothing. I don't like that album. The AZ album, I ain't like it at all. But this Nas and AZ shit right here, it's a 10. It's a 10 for me, dog. That's a 10 for me. I don't know what people was expecting from Nas and AZ. I don't know what people wanted. And they did, like, when AZ before the album dropped, when AZ tweeted, he said something different. You know what I mean? He said it was going to be something different. So it is a little different than what they've done before, but what, you just want them to keep doing the same thing over and over again? Nah, that ain't what we want. And so I think the person that said that, I think you're right. We might be getting a Nas and AZ collab album. In the Joe Budden's interview, Nas said that they've been talking about it. They've been trying to figure it out with their schedules and, you know, the stuff that they got going on individually to try to, you know, get it together to start working on the album. Nas said AZ already got beats put to the side for this album and all of that. I don't know how I feel about that. But once upon a time, not even that long ago, before this Nas and Premier album was officially announced, when they dropped Define My Name and really said, okay, we really about to do this. Before that, when it was just an idea and it was just rumors and talks about it, I used to say I didn't want him to do the album. I used to say it was too late. That was my feeling, like, nah, don't even do it. You're never going to be able to live up to the expectations. Don't even do it. And then after they officially announced it and, you know, started the Legend Has It rollout and all of that shit, you know, I got to the point where I accepted. I'm like, okay, we really about to get this album. You know what I mean? But I was correct. You're never going to be able to live up to the expectations. That turned out to be correct. That was the reason why I didn't want them to do it in the first place. But I'm glad they did. And so the idea of a Nas AZ collab, I've felt the same way. Normally I would say, nah, don't do no Nas AZ collab. It's a wrap. They should have did that back in the days. If they was going to do it, they should have did that shit back in the days. It's too late now. Don't do it. They're not going to be able to live up to the expectations. And so while I still feel like they'll never be able to live up to the expectations, now I do want them to do it. Because I don't care about how it's received by the masses. I don't even care. Do it for me, nigga. Shit. It's personal now. Yeah, I want to hear it. Nas and AZ, y'all want to do an album? I'm here for it. An EP, whatever. I'm here for it. And so that might be the next Legend Has It rollout. I think we're going to get another Legend Has It campaign. I think Kool G Rap is going to be a part of it. He talked about it in one of the interviews he did recently. After he got the Hip Hop Masters Award from Nas, he talked about how they spoke about it. Him possibly doing an album for the next Legend Has It series. So I believe that's going to be a part of it. I believe the Nas and AZ collab is going to be the one that ends it off. You know what I mean? And so I'm here for it. What else y'all think might be a part of that campaign? What would be another dope part of that campaign? Also, what producers do y'all want to hear Nas and AZ work with on the album? That's a question right there. What producers y'all want to hear? But again, that's a 10 for me. That song, that Nas and AZ song, is a 10. I love it. Bouquet for the ladies. Bouquet for the ladies. This is a dope song too. This is a dope song too. The EPMD LL Cool J scratch for the ladies and all party goers. Where the ladies at? And if you know who you are, why don't you make yourself seen? I love it. I love it. Now, again, this goes back to what we were saying about the writers thing. Part of Nas's agenda with this album was to put certain things into the history books. You know what I mean? And on this one, he wanted to give props to all of the female MCs, some of the female DJs got shout outs on here. He did a great job with it. The beat is dope. The hook is dope. You know, lyrically, Nas is Nas. The only downside of this song is the long shout outs at the end of the song, you know. But again, I understand what he was trying to do. He trying to put all of this stuff into the archives, into the annals of history to make sure everything is documented. And so that's kind of a hard thing to do, and also create a song that's going to have replay value, right? So I take some points away from the song with the long shout outs at the end because that kills the replay value. You know what I mean? It's only good the first one or two times you hear it. After that, you got to skip it. You know what I mean? And so you lose some points for that. But that was a sacrifice. I don't think that was a misstep. I just think that that was a sacrifice. Okay, this is important to me. So although I know niggas are going to skip this, I'm still going to include it. You know what I'm saying? So I understand that because me and DJ RP Beats, we did a song on the Master's Table album called Flowers, ironically. Nas' song is called Bouquet for the ladies. We did a song called Flowers where we were giving honor and respect to a lot of the master teachers who are still living. A lot of the people who are still living, because, you know, on the previous album, we did a song. Which song was that? Which song was that? I forgot the name of the song, but on the previous album, on the Spirit and the Shield album, we did a song where, we did a song called Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, where we paid homage to her, you know, who had already made her transition. But on the second verse of that song, I shouted out a lot of the master teachers who had already made their transition. And so on the next album, we wanted to pay homage to a lot of the people who were still living. And so there's an extended version of that song where I give a gang of shout outs. I don't even think y'all ever heard that. I might have posted it on social media before, but there's an extended version of that song where I did the same thing that Nas did on this Bouquet song. I just shouted out everybody I could think of. I remember being in the booth. I had a whole list of people. I could tell Nas had a list of people, even on the writer song. He said some of them people he didn't even know about. He had DJ Premier and his people give him a list of people to shout out on the writer song. And obviously he did the same thing here, where he just got a list of all the female MCs that everybody could think of, and he tried his best to give everybody a shout out. I did the same thing on Flowers, but we cut it off for the album version of the song because we knew that was going to kill the replay value of it. We knew that, you know, people was going to end up skipping that song if we left all of those shout outs on there. But there is an extended version where we did the same exact thing. So I understand where he was coming from with it, but I still got to take away a couple of points because of that. And so it's a strong song, but it loses points with the long shout outs at the end. I'm going to have to give it for the ladies and all party goers. Where the ladies at? Where the ladies at? What I got to give it, y'all? I want to give it an 8. I'm going to give it a 7.5 to be fair. I'm going to give it a 7.5 to be fair. Because what I'm trying to say, if it didn't have all of the shout outs at the end, let's say he cut it down the same way we did with the Flower song, would it be a 10? I still don't think it would be a 10. I still don't think it would be a 10. It'd probably be like an 8.5 or a 9 without all the shout outs on it. So I'm going to give it a 7.5 as is. That song will be a 7.5 for me. What's the next record? The next record is Junkies. Another conceptual joint. Number 12. I need it in my artery. It keeps calling me. Again, I like the production here. I like the concept. Nas being a hip hop junkie, talking about him and Preem being hip hop junkies, you know, not being able to give it up. You know, they still here 30 years later, 40 years later for Premier. When did Gangstar first come out? 89? 88, 89 when Gangstar first came out. So these guys are still here, still doing this shit out of the love. You know what I'm saying? Like they talked about in the interview, it's not for the money. It ain't even about the money no more. You know what I'm saying? They really doing this shit that they love to do because they love to do it. And so to flip that into this metaphor about being a hip hop junkie, I thought that was dope. I thought it was executed pretty well. Some of the lyrics were a little bit like, you know, cheesy or whatever, when, you know, talking about, not cheesy, I don't want to say cheesy, but low hanging fruit type shit. You know what I'm saying? Hi, I'm a rapaholic. I've been sober since my last installment. I need music with substance. So it's abuse, they call it. You know what I mean? Like, okay, you know, being in the AA meetings or the NA meetings, you know what I'm saying? And flipping all of the verbiage from the sobriety verbiage into the hip hop shit and all of that. It was cool, but it was easy. You know, that was easy to do. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not like a high tech concept. That's an easy concept for Nas. You know what I'm saying? So it's cool. I'll give it a 7. I'll give it a 7. Shine Together. Shine Together is track number 14. Or is it 13? Wait, what am I missing here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. What song am I missing? Did I skip anything? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I ain't skipped nothing, right, y'all? Because this should be number 14. Shine Together should be number 14. But for some reason, I got it 13 on my list. What am I missing? What song did I not review? Welcome to the Underground, New York State of Mind. Madman, Pause Tapes, Writers, Sons. Life is Real, Get Ready. My Life is Real, I gave it a 10. Get Ready, I gave it an 8. New York State of Mind, I gave it a 7. Welcome to the Underground, I gave it a 4. Madman, I gave it a 10. Pause Tapes, I gave it a 10. Writers, I gave it a 10. Sons, I gave it a 7.5. Now, I think that's where I skipped something at. Because Sons is better than a 7.5. Sons is better than a 7.5. So what comes after Sons? It's Time. I think It's Time should have got the 7.5. Yeah. Sons is a good 9. Sons is a good 9. So I don't know how I skipped that one. But yeah, Sons should be a 9. All right, so now we on Shine Together, which is the second to last joint. Let me see. Shine Together is the slow one right there. Okay, yeah. That one right there. That one was just okay for me. The beat wasn't all of that. You know what I'm saying? It felt like the album was coming to a close. You know what I'm saying? It felt like, you know, the credits were starting to roll there. It's one of the lower points in the album for me. Let me see. Rugged pistol holder / government whistleblower, repugnant information. The public should get to know us. Like whenever this nigga rhymes, though, that changes everything. Whenever this nigga rhymes, it kind of changes everything. I seen on one of those Twitter spaces where not Twitter spaces, but one of the Twitter accounts where they do like rap by the numbers. Y'all know what I'm talking about? They said Nas rapped like a couple of thousand words on this album that he never rapped before. He always do that. You know, Nas introduced a lot of words into the rap lexicon. Nas is responsible for a lot of words. Him being the first rapper to ever say certain words. I don't know if there's another rapper, a popular mainstream rapper, that introduced more words than Nas. Nas always say some shit you never heard a rapper say before. The bird was into Piscataway. Let me see. I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, the hook was the Biggie shit. Rhyme a few balls, kick a few flows. Yeah. phenomenal, and we might as well shine together. So it's cool. It's cool. It's not a skip. It's not a skip, especially since it's toward the end of the album or whatever. But it's not a highlight. It's not a highlight of the album either. I'll give it a 7. I'll give it a 7. And now, Third Childhood. I don't think Third Childhood should have been the last song. I think that Shine Together should have been the last song. Or like my brother Ish said, the intro could have been an outro as well. That would have worked as well. But Third Childhood, it's a cool song. Is it as good as Second Childhood? No, it's not. It's not. And that's the problem. So for the people who was expecting it to live up to Second Childhood, which that's the expectations. Don't get me wrong. I'm not mad at none of these expectations. The expectations are warranted. It's Nas and Premier. You say you're going to do your New York State of Mind, you set in a certain expectation. You say you're going to do Third Childhood, you set in a certain expectation. So I'm not saying people shouldn't be expecting that. The expectations are warranted. And the fact that they don't hit the mark with these records is what really let people down. I just happen to not be as let down as those people just because it didn't hit the mark. I agree that it didn't hit the mark, but I'm not as let down by that as some other people are, because I don't know. I guess I'm just giving them that type of grace. Like, okay, it ain't that good. It's good, but it ain't that damn good. But I'm not shocked that it's not that good. Like, when I first seen that on the list, I'm like, really, nigga? You gonna do Third Childhood? Like, I don't know if you want to. That's a crown jewel. I don't know if y'all gonna be able to do that one again, but let's see what you got. And so it was a good effort, but no, you didn't hit the mark. But it's a dope song, though. You know, the stuff that he's talking about. I was wondering, you know, where he was gonna go with it as far as Third Childhood, and I like that he's talking about aging gracefully in the rap game, and the rap game itself aging gracefully and dispelling the idea that it's a young man's sport and all of that stuff. And, you know, after a certain age, you got to stop doing certain things. Like, I like that he's getting rid of a lot of that. You know what I'm saying? He talked about how, you know, other people from other genres don't have that same stigma. You know, like an Ozzy Osbourne can still have his fingernails painted black and nobody's telling him he needs to grow up and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And so I love the concept of the album. You know, I like the beat. You know, Nas's flow is Nas's flow. He does what he does. It's just not as good as Second Childhood. And I wasn't mad at them redoing the hook. That's some Nas shit to do. I'm pretty sure that was Nas' idea. I don't think they're going to do a lot more interviews, but if they do, I hope somebody would ask them that question. Just like Joe Budden asked them whose idea it was to sample Billy Joel. I'm glad he asked that question, because everybody trying to throw Premier under the bus. This is my thing. If you mad at these beats, you could be mad at the beats, but don't try to big up Nas and throw Premier under the bus. They both got to take the heat for whatever it is that you don't like, because it was a collaborative thing, and a lot of these choices were Nas's ideas. So if you don't like the Billy Joel sample on New York State of Mind, you can't just throw Primo under the bus and say Nas did his thing. It's Primo's fault that the album is trash. You can't do that. Nas got to take the blame for it too if you don't like it, because that was his idea. Same thing here. If you mad at the fact that they redid the same hook for Second Childhood, when I flow for the street, who else could it be? NAS. Nah. If you mad that they re-scratched the same scratches, I would wager that was Nas's idea also. And to me, I'm not mad at it. That's some Nas shit. Like Nas, remember on the Streets Disciple album, the title track, was it the title track? Streets Disciple, right? I be forgetting shit. Y'all gotta bear with me. Shit. I don't be remembering shit. Hold on. I think it's the title track on Streets Disciple. Where is it? Yeah, featuring Oludara. This is it, right? No, maybe that's not it. That's not the one. Thief's Theme. That's what it was. Thief's Theme. Remember, he used that same beat again on Hip Hop Is Dead for the first single of Hip Hop Is Dead. He did the same beat that he did from the album right before that. And I think Thief's Theme was a single, actually. It wasn't the first single, but I think Thief's Theme ended up being a single off of that album. And he redid the same exact beat with another producer, too, because this song, Thief's Theme, is produced by Salaam Remi, right? Go to credits. Yeah, produced by Salaam Remi. But then he did it again on Hip Hop Is Dead with the title track, Hip Hop Is Dead, produced by will.i.am. Same shit. Produced by will.i.am on that one. You know what I'm saying? And so that's not laziness. That's intentional. You know what I'm saying? He did it on the Hip Hop Is Dead joint as a statement to say hip hop is dead. You know, this shit is so dead. I could just use the same beat over again, make another song over the same beat that I used before. That's how dead this shit is. That was like kind of the statement that he was trying to make there. And in this situation, I don't know what the thinking might have been around it, but I believe it was obviously intentional. Obviously, they could have came up with a different hook and scratched something else for the hook. But I thought that part of the song, they just wanted to maintain it because the theme was going in such a different direction. They still wanted it to remind you that it was a sequel of that record. You know what I'm saying? And the way to keep it intact was by redoing the same scratches. And they didn't just place the same scratches on the record. Like you could hear that Preemo re-scratched the same thing for the record. You know what I'm saying? He redid it over. You know what I mean? So I thought that was dope. You know what I mean? So again, does it live up to Second Childhood? No. Is it a whack record? Hell no. It's still a dope record. I still give it an 8. I still give it an 8. So let me add this up. We got a 10, a 8. Let me use my calculator. Shit. Let me use my calculator. So we got a 10, we got an 8, we got a 7, we got a 4, we got 1, 2, 3 more 10s. A 7.5. Plus 2 more 10s. Another 7.5. 2 more 7s. And a 8. Divided by 15. So that's a 7.7. Can't make this shit up. That's a 7.7. So I give the album a 7.7 out of 10. 7.7 out of 10. And so that fits with what I thought, what I was thinking before I even did the numbers, right? Because I still like to use the mic system. I think the Source really set the standard with the 5 mic system. And so I was saying it's a 4 mic album. Meaning it's a dope album. It's above average. It's not a 5 mic album. It's not a classic. It's not the album of the year. You know what I'm saying? But this year, that was kind of hard. It was kind of hard to get the album of the year this year. But yeah, that's respectable. I give it a 7.7, 4 mics if we going to use the Source route. So that's my take. What y'all think? Madman is legit. The rest is good. Welcome to the underground. That beat is trash. Some people love that beat. Thundercat said it's a B+. Sage the Trader said I give it an 8 out of 10. As a Nas fan, objectively, your 7.7 is cool. Right? Anybody in here not like the album at all? Is there anybody in here who say that the album was trash? Let me see what Say said. New York State of Mind Part 3, Madman, Pause Tapes, Get Ready, Writers, It's Time, My Life is Real, My Story, Your Story, Sons, Nasty, Esco, Nasir, Junkie, Bouquet, Shine Together, Third Childhood, and Underground. Those are all the songs you like? Hip Hop is Dead redo of Thief's theme beat was I didn't hate it, but understand why he did it. Please tell us your rearrangement. I don't know about that. Only thing, if I was gonna rearrange it, only thing I could think of really off top is I would take off Welcome to the Underground. Welcome to the Underground wouldn't be on the album. Second Childhood probably would have been, let me see. Second Childhood would have been before or after Sons. Where's Sons at? Sons comes after Writers and before It's Time. So in that sequence, I would have put it after Sons. I would have put Third Childhood after Sons. I probably would have ended the album with Bouquet for the ladies. Especially since it got all the shout outs at the end. That way you don't have to skip it. It's the last song. You know what I'm saying? I would have put that at the end. Bouquet would have been the last record. I'll keep the intro as the intro. Get Ready, Stay Where It's At. New York State of Mind as number 3. I'm not mad at that. Welcome to the Underground. I would have took that off. So we'd have went from New York State of Mind to Madman, then to Pause Tapes, then to Writers, then to Sons, then to Third Childhood, then to It's Time, which would have brought the tempo back up. Nasty, Esco, Nasir, My Story, Your Story. And then Shine Together. Junkie and Bouquet is left, but nah, that wouldn't flow correct either. I would have to tweak that a little bit more. So I don't know about the sequence. Good, but it definitely could have been some tweaks to the sequence. Also, in the interview, they was talking about how when they first started making songs, back when they did Define My Name, Preemo said he had sent Nas a bunch of beats and he recorded a bunch of songs. I don't know about a bunch of songs, but he recorded some songs back then other than just Define My Name. And then, Preem went on tour and Nas was doing whatever he was doing. Like they both got busy. And then when they finally got their schedules in order where they could come together, they scrapped all those songs. When he went to Premo's crib, Preemo moved into a new crib and built the studio in the crib, and he had Nas come over there and they started officially working on the album. They scrapped all of the songs that they had already did. So there's a bunch of other songs on the cutting room floor as well. Let's not forget that. We might get another Lost Tapes or something. It was a team effort. Yeah, that's right. It's a team effort. It's funny how just taking out that one song improves the album so much. Writers and Pause Tapes should be one extended video. I would say no, because Writers is kind of a long song. Writers is 4.5 minutes. You know what I'm saying? But I think they both deserve visuals, though. I think they both deserve visuals, and not no AI visuals either. I wouldn't do AI visuals for them. I would do some official visuals for the Pause Tapes and the Writers joint. 8.5. I love the 80s stripped down approach. Feels like a dense historical account. Okay. So nobody in my chat dislikes the album. Seems like I didn't see really nobody giving it no low ratings, except in the beginning. Somebody was here earlier when I first started the broadcast, said it was trash. They didn't like the album at all. But yeah, 7.7. I think that's a fair one. And it's very fitting for me, to give it a 7.7. Now watch the cutting room songs with Primo will be fire because they probably just straight boom bap and don't fit the scheme of light years. Yeah, right. There's probably some heat on that cutting room floor. But look, man, here's the thing, man. I'm very satisfied with this album. I'm very proud of these brothers. As a fan of hip hop and as a fan of Nas and Primo, I'm grateful. You know what I'm saying? To even have this even happen, for me to live long enough to see this actually happen. I'm grateful and I'm proud. You know what I'm saying? Of all that they accomplished, including this album. You know what I mean? And eager to see what's going to be next for both of them. But at the same time, I don't feel entitled to anything. If Nas decides that this was it right here, because parts of this album felt like a farewell to me. When he was doing a lot of those shout outs and making sure that he documented a lot of this stuff into the history books, it almost felt like a farewell album. And if he decided to go off into the sunset and not give us no more music after this, I couldn't be mad. I can't be mad. Would I love to hear a Nas AZ collab? Definitely. Another Nas album with some other dream producer or something like that, or maybe go back to the multiple producer thing or whatever. I'll take it. Whatever you decide to do, I'm here for it. That's my point. Whatever is next, at this point, all my expectations is out the window. All of my sense of entitlement is out the window. And I'm just here for whatever he decides to do next, musically. Telling Primo to hang it up and retire is mean-spirited. That's crazy. People talking like that, I don't know what they talking about. Did y'all hear De La Soul album? Those of y'all that saying Primo need to retire and hang it up, if you didn't like the album, fine. If you don't like the beats on this album, that's fine. But did you hear the De La Soul album? You ain't like that either? You ain't like them joints either? Hang it up and retire. That don't even make sense. Yeah, Nas said he ready when AZ is ready. Yeah, I heard him say it. And so AZ, I don't know what else you got going on that's more important, but you might want to put some of the other endeavors on the back burner for now. Get this Nas project popping. But they're gonna kill y'all. They're gonna drag y'all. It's never gonna be good enough. Y'all not gonna be able to satisfy the fans. So if y'all do decide to do it, just go in the studio and do whatever is in your heart to do. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to redo More Money, More Murder, More Homicide. Don't do Life's a Bitch Part 2. Don't do shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Just go in there and just make some new shit and just drop that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because they're going to kill y'all anyway. They're going to kill y'all. They're going to say, oh, it's trash. It ain't this. It ain't that. You know what I mean? Nas projects usually don't sound like what's popular. That's a fact. He goes against the grain. He's always been against the grain. Primo not as sharp as they used to be, but I wouldn't say he needs to hang it up. Are you saying Primo not as sharp as he used to be because of this album? Because again, what about the joints he did on De La album? Yeah, I agree with that. AZ need to catch this wave now while the griddle is hot. I agree with that. Right now. I don't know, because Nas was saying, yeah, Nas, AZ got some other stuff going on. I don't know what it is, but I don't think it's going to be bigger than this, AZ. I don't know what it is you got going on, but I doubt it's going to be bigger than this. Just go ahead. Y'all go out to the Bahamas and just lock in and do what y'all do, man. But what producers y'all want to hear on that project? A lot of people say Pete Rock. I ain't mad at the Pete Rock idea because Pete Rock is an incredible producer. But at the same time, I am mad at the Pete Rock idea because Pete Rock is just a bitch ass nigga. He a hoe ass nigga. And I just wonder why Pete Rock would act like that. That type of shit make me give rap right back. So I'll pick Alchemist over Pete Rock. I'll pick. I think for a Nas and AZ joint, it should be multiple producers anyway. I don't think it should be just one producer. You know what I mean? And I don't think the names of the producers even matter as much either. Just get some dope shit that y'all could ride off of. Like who produced the Flyers? Who produced the Flyers? Let me go to that album real quick. Who produced this? LES. And that's, man, I was just saying this shit recently. LES is the most underrated producer that Nas ever worked with. LES did Life's a Bitch, and he did the Flyers. Did LES do the intro for LES did a lot of dope shit, man. He don't really get props like that, man. Did he do the intro to no, not this album. Untitled album. Did he do this? He might have did this. Oh no, yeah, that was Jay Electronica. I knew that. He did something else on here though. He did something on the Untitled album that I like a lot. Yeah, LES be doing dope shit. Didn't he do Undying Love? Did LES do Undying Love? Let me see. Last song on I Am? Or is that Al West? Let me see. Now that's LES. LES for Total Package. He was down with Track Masters. He had a production deal with Track Masters. He did a lot of dope shit though. Yeah, LES is very underrated. I don't know if he should do a whole album, but I think he should be a part of it. I think he should be a part of it for sure. But again, the names don't matter, man. Just pick some dope ass beats and y'all do what y'all do, man. I'll be here for it. I love your take. At you 100. Yes, Nas and AZ would be a blessing. Would love to have it. The Alchemist, Pete Rock, Havoc. Yes, Havoc. Absolutely. LES did Suspect. Witness Don't Come Outside. LES did that. Yep. Conductor. Yes, I'm not mad at that. Conductor Williams. Not mad at that. True Master. I love True Master. I don't know though. I love True Master. I don't know. He might have some heat though. LES, Large Professor. Yes. Yes. Yes, absolutely. Where the hell is Poke and Tone? I ain't heard from Trackmasters in forever. What happened to them niggas? Dr. Dre. Nobody wants to hear from Dr. Dre. Nas was talking about he wanted to drop a Preemo album and a Dr. Dre album on the same day. Would y'all be here for that? Bring Dr. Dre back into the lab? You know what I mean? That'll probably be some shit that'll never happen, though. Niggas probably go in there and record it because there was footage floating around a couple of years ago with Nas in the studio with Dre, and they played a little snippet of it. Y'all ever seen that? That clip was floating around? Nas standing at the boards in the studio and Dre playing a piece of his verse for some shit. That shit was sounding hard as a bitch. Like, why we ain't get that? Why we ain't get that? Said they rich. Trackmasters? Yeah, I bet they is rich. Bet they is rich. But yeah, man, I appreciate y'all tapping in, man. That's my review for the album, man. That's my review, man. It's a 7.7. It's a dope album. I'm very satisfied with the album. I ain't mad at this album at all. Just Blaze, not mad at that. Yep, Just Blaze. What's them boys down there in Miami? Cool and Dre. Justice League. I would like to hear Justice League. Nas and Rick Ross always make a good pair. They always make a good pair. I love all of their collabs together. So I think that was like No ID did some of those, Justice League, Cool and Dre, people like that was producing on a lot of those records that they did together. But yeah, whoever it was, bring them niggas to the studio. Get them niggas in the lab. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know what happened to the track masters. Nas and Alchemist would be bananas. Not mad at the album either. All right, I got a good chat here, man. Seem like I got a good chat with some good taste here because y'all are not y'all are not reflective of what I'm seeing on Twitter and Facebook. People is trashing this album. Thank you, bro. I love the album because I know what it is and respect it for being pure hip hop. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm with y'all. But again, man, thanks again for tapping in with me. Hope y'all got y'all day ones copies. They got different versions of the vinyl out now, but whichever one you get, just go ahead and support the album. You know what I mean? Show love to the album. I also got the comic book too. And I keep asking y'all, none of y'all are comic book heads, right? Where my nigga nerds at? Where my nigga nerds that collect comics and stuff like that? Because I've been asking y'all if it's okay for me to open this or not. Because I want to keep it and maintain, you know, the value and everything, but also I want to open it and read the shit one time. So is it cool if I open this up, take it out the plastic, read it one time, and put it back in here and just keep it in tip-top condition, or is that gonna make it lose a lot of value? I don't know. I'm not a comic book collector like that, but I got this, and I'll probably get the Nas DJ Premier variant. They got different variant covers where all of the different artists got their own cover. I'll probably get the one with Nas and Premier on the cover as well. But can I open it? Can I open it up and read it at least one time? Y'all let me know. Y'all let me know how that works. But until next time, family, I appreciate y'all rocking with me, man. That does it for today's episode of Sincere of the Godcast. This has been my official album review for the Nas DJ Premier Light Years album. We gave it a 7.7. That's a very, very solid, dope album. Proud of those brothers. I'm gonna still be bumping it all 2026. Should I do? Actually, I'm gonna do it. Maybe tomorrow. My son got basketball practice tomorrow. One day this week, I'm gonna do a live reaction to the Conway album. I still didn't listen to Conway's album, and so I'm gonna do a live reaction to that one. One day this week. So y'all stay tuned for that. I ain't listened to it yet, so I'm gonna listen to it for the first time with y'all. Appreciate y'all rocking with me, man. I'm up out of here. Peace and black love.